Alright, hi, hello, what's up? Today we're going to be reading more queer Reddit stories as per usual. If you can't tell, I got a haircut. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Also, you can't tell until I show you, but I got a tattoo on my leg. So yeah. We are going to go with this as far as my phone will let me because I am on 19%. Lavender marriage convo. My BF and I were watching a TV one day and lavender marriage came up in the conversation. I proceeded to explain to him what it was since I was already joking around saying how nice it must be to be in a lavender marriage and not have to tell a man certain things. Because gay men often have women's mannerisms and things that shouldn't have to be said or asked for would just be done. Now he laughed it off and we went about our night as usual. I'm not interested in gay men, women, or anything else but straight men. He knows this. Fast forward to days later having a disagreement about something completely unrelated. He brings up that I made him feel bad because I said I would get married to a gay man. My response was, are you crazy? How does this relate to a fee we pay on something unrelated? Followed by, I find it very strange that in all the years we've known each other, you've never once mentioned marriage or wanting marriage unless I brought it up to prove a point. Usually that marriage isn't a goal for him, which I tell him is fine if that's the case, but I'm leaving and not being strung along if that's the case as well. It turns into a screaming match, and the once convo about a fee needing to be paid is ended something unrelated. Happens a lot. Please let me know if I'm wrong. If so, I can take it context, typing fast, and sorry for grammatical errors. We have been on and off for over 7 years, 2 kids. Ooh. It rubs me a little bit weird how she's saying that gay men have, like, women's mannerisms, and she's kind of stereotyping gay men, and I mean, yes, I kind of agree, gay men are usually better than cis men in certain regards. Maybe, this is how I see it. I may be wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments. Gay men are also a minority, so they understand to a certain degree, because minorities are different, but they understand how it feels not to be, like, number one, have a straight, cis, white man. Like, they aren't top of the food chain, so they kind of understand. But yeah, I mean, there are very misogynistic gay men, let's just also bring that up. Like, there's a lot of great gay men. Universe, please bring me one. But, there's also really shitty gays, so I feel like, you know, every group has bad and good in it, so we're moving on. I think this person really needs to talk to their husband if they feel as though any other marriage but their own relationship is, like, better. I feel like there's some talking that needs to be done. Also, the end confused me because the grammar was not the best. This was posted 2 hours ago. So hopefully she'll go back and edit it later. Am I the asshole for coming out as bi in front of family and friends without asking my wife if I could? So I'm 38 male, married to my wife, 39 female. We have been married almost 16 years, and for the last 7 to 8 years, we went from dirty talking and just exploring my bisexuality to more recently some experiences. We have just kept it between us the whole time. No one knew, and quite honestly, I don't think anyone would have guessed. I'm a pretty typical American guy. I drive a Corvette, smoke briskets on the weekends, and I have respectable whiskey and gun collections. So a couple of nights ago, we were out with my wife's brother and his husband. Okay, so they're gay. Her sister and some of our friends, we were playing bingo at a local bar when the topic of being gay in modern society came up somehow. A couple of our more conservative friends were basically saying that they didn't think it was a big deal anymore, and society is pretty open. My brother-in-law, who is gay if you didn't notice from above, refuted it and said while technically a person is allowed to be themselves, it isn't always comfortable. I chimed in with my opinion and personal experience without explicitly saying anything. I just said that just because laws and polite society say you're being treated equally, it doesn't actually translate into how you are always treated, and that it's reflected by it being such a big deal still to come out. My brother-in-law's husband joked and said, when did you get so gay? My wife, who was maybe feeling a little tipsy, joked too and said, oh, you have no idea, he's super gay. People laughed and maybe I felt like my opinion was being dismissed, so I said, well, I'm not gay, I guess I am bisexual. I never told anyone except my wife's name, because of the exact fear I just mentioned, so yes, it's coming from experiencing. I felt like I made a mistake when things got awkward. Oh no. The subject changed, but the nice mood was different. The next day, my wife, who, again, is always supportive, said that she didn't like being blindsided by it, and it made her feel some kind of way. She couldn't describe it, but She couldn't describe it, but said it upset her. She said she's not upset with me, she loves me, supports me, but is upset that it's just the way she feels, even if she can't figure it out. I also, of course, made its way through some friends. Some had told me that it's my right to share, and others said sharing info about our sex life should be talked through with my wife. I can kind of get that, but I didn't actively share anything about our sex life, just my sexuality. However, to be fair, some folks pointed out that things can be inferred. So I will say, I think it proved my point, but at the same time, am I the asshole? The first comment, I mean, even though it was a joke, your wife kind of said it first. She, in a way, pulled you out of the closet. Just a point you may want to bring up with your wife. Someone quoted, others said that sharing info about our sex life should have been talked through with my wife. The person goes, did you actually share info about your sex life or just that you're bi? If all you said was what you posted here, then not the asshole. If you did share details of your explorations together, then you're the asshole for not clearing it with your wife first. OP said, I did not. I literally just said, well, I am bisexual. Someone goes, yeah, then not that asshole. Maybe she felt weird because she felt like she was poking fun with the he's super gay comment, and maybe she felt like an asshole when you got serious about it, which is no one's fault in my opinion. Have you ever asked her if she's against people knowing you're bi in general? First thing I want to bring up in regards to this is people saying that it's like taking him saying that he's bi and then turning that into talking about your sex life. If it was just him saying that he was bi, that's homophobia. To infer or to connect, to make being queer inherently sexual is homophobia. Like saying that kids shouldn't see gay relationships because it's sexual or blah blah blah, blah like that. It's homophobic. Let's just start there. I want to be on OP's side. I kind of am mostly on his side, but I think the way he went about it, there was a very like joking tone to what was being said. Like the brother-in-law's husband was like, oh, you're so gay now, and the wife's like, yeah, you're gay, haha. And he kind of went serious about it in a way that I feel like it was the seriousness of how he replied that made things awkward. If it were me, if I was the guy, I would run it through. No, I wouldn't. If it came up in conversation and I just genuinely like came out and said, hey, yeah, I'm gay, it wouldn't I wouldn't have to do that because anyway, whatever. I was gonna say that like maybe I would have ran it through my partner if I was gonna say something like that, but at the same time, it's not something they are really connected to. It's like talking about my gender. If I want to come out as trans, I don't need to run it by my partner first and be like, I just want to let you know I'm going to come out as trans in this conversation. And it's also, if you feel comfortable enough, or if you feel compelled to come out to say you're bi, you're trans, you're gay, whatever, do it when you feel comfortable. It's no one else's business per se. The thing is, when I first heard this, I was like, oh, he maybe should have ran it through his wife because it's such a serious topic and stuff like that. But also, it's not her business fully. Like, it is her business, but it's not like him coming out to the people around him. It's something that happened in the moment, and it wasn't something that he like knew was going to happen. He wasn't like going into this conversation saying, I'm gonna come out as bi today. No, it was just where the conversation went, and he has the complete right to say, hey, I'm bi, and bring it into the conversation. Yeah, no, because he goes, well, I'm not gay, I guess I am bisexual. I have never told anyone except my wife's name because of the exact fear I mentioned, so yes, it's coming from experience. Like, it turned the conversation from something that was, like, jokey and nice to, like, well, yes, this is coming from experience. It was, like, overly serious. Someone says, was I the asshole for burning my best friend's wedding folder? I'm going to really need a very legit reason that this person would not be an asshole. Alright, I was talking with my dad yesterday, and this came up in conversation. My dad thinks I'm an asshole for how I handled it, but supports me because, well, I'm his son. This happened 25 years ago, so certain details are fuzzy. My best friend from school, Claire, was getting married. We went through a lot of shit together in school. As a result, we were really close, so when her boyfriend proposed, I was in the inner circle of people she told first. Claire didn't have a great deal of confidence. She asked me to help her plan her wedding, which I was happy to do. She also asked me to be her maid of honor, which I was also happy to do. The boyfriend, now fiancé, took a very hands-off approach and just dealt with his side of things. I helped with the cars, reception, I'm guessing cards. I helped with the cars, reception venue, DJ, photographer, caterer, the wedding cake. I helped her with the gown and bridesmaids' dresses, and offered to do her and the bridesmaids' hair. The only thing I didn't have a hand in was the church where she got married. 6 months before the wedding, Claire said she had booked a hairdresser because she wanted me to enjoy the day. Not a big deal. It's her wedding. She can do what she wants. I'm happy to be included. This is where my memory gets a bit fuzzy because things happened fairly quickly and it was a long time ago. She said to me not long after that I couldn't be her maid of honor because the witnesses had to be a man and a woman, but I would still have an important role, so I swallowed my disappointment and said that was fine. It's her wedding. Maybe 10 days later she said okay, that she wanted me to be her maid of honor, so I said okay, that'd be lovely, or words to that effect. Then 2 or 3 days later she said she couldn't have me as her maid of honor because of the pressure from both sets of parents, so I said that's okay, I don't want to stress you out. A weekish later, she was in a mood and said she wanted me as her maid of honor. It's her wedding and stuff, the parents. So I say, okay, as long as you're sure. Then a couple or 3 days later, she said the parents had been on her case, and so had her fiance about me being the maid of honor, so she couldn't have me in that role. I was getting pissed at this point, so I told her I'm not adding to her stress, and I'm just happy being a special guest. Time rolled on, and 3 weeks, or it could have been 2 weeks before, I'm not sure, I was at the family wedding meeting because I was the only person besides Claire who knew what was happening. There had been maybe 3 of these meetings before that, if I can recall correctly. In the midst of the discussion, the groom's mom, out of nowhere, said to me, and do you mind, Shiver, not being in the photos? We don't want someone like you in them. I replied, what do you mean? She said, well, you're gay. You'll ruin the photos. I asked if everyone felt this way, and nobody said anything. Not Claire or her parents, or who I'd known since the age of 12. I got up, stormed out of the house with the wedding folder, and when I got home, I threw the folder in the fire. My dad was furious with me. I told him what had happened, and he told me I should have left the folder there, but he supported me because I'm his son. I didn't hear from anyone for a couple of days. The bridesmaids and groom's mom turned up one evening to ask for the wedding folder. I wasn't in, so I can't tell you what happened. My dad said the folder was gone and he chewed them out a bit for how they treated me. I didn't hear from anyone after, with the exception of one of the bridesmaids I was friendly with for a while. She told me it was all a bit of a mad rush, but things went well on the day. I'm not saying I'm an angel, far from it. I behaved a bit badly because I'm sure I did push back a bit, which couldn't have helped the bride's state of mind. She didn't have much confidence and probably made things more difficult for her. So was I the asshole for burning the folder? Not the asshole. They were being homophobic. They said, we don't want you in the photos because you're gay. That's homophobic. I would commit arson, okay? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do well in jail, so I wouldn't actually commit arson. But I would really consider, like, burning a folder. Burning the work that it seems that he did. I didn't zone out or anything, right? He did do, like, most of the work. He did a lot of the wedding work. So it's his shit to burn. If he wanted to burn it, go ahead. I had a very specific feeling when I read that Claire said nothing when they said that to this guy. Like, this is supposed to be your friend. This man did all of this shit for you, and you are just going to let people throw discriminatory stuff at him? Like, they may as well have called him a slur. We don't want you in the photo. We don't want people like you in the photo. Then people like me are gonna burn your fucking wedding folder because, I don't know, people like me don't need to help you. People like you, like, fuck that. I can picture exactly what this family looks like, and it is like the most Karen family in the world. I'm happy that the dad supports his son, but also, if it was my mom, she would be there with me burning the fucking thing. So, you know, am I the asshole for ending things with my girlfriend over her gay best friend? I, male 27, have recently ended things with my long-distance girlfriend, 25, female of 9 months. Here's some context. We are about 5-hour drive apart from each other. We would FaceTime every single night and see each other at least once a month. She's had a very obviously gay best friend since they were in grade school. I've met him a couple times and he's a cool guy. We had a fight in October because he would come over once a month over the weekend and stay the night since they live very far apart. So a trip to hang out would be very difficult given that they both don't drive. The issue was they would sleep in the same bed. I explained to my girlfriend that I wasn't comfortable with them sleeping in the same bed, and she said things along the lines of, it's completely platonic, she doesn't see him as a man. They use he, them pronouns, but I can't say I'm too educated on the whole pronoun thing. And that they put a wall of pillows in between them so that we don't touch, and my bed is big, etc. But I find it kind of silly. I'm still uncomfortable with it. Eventually, we agreed that he would sleep on an air mattress or the couch. It was extensive and a long convo, but I'm glad she listened to my needs and my boundaries regarding the relationship. Fast forward to 3 days ago, she told me that her friend couldn't find their air mattress and that she had barely honored the agreement we made. I felt betrayed, and she apologized over and over and brought an air mattress. She told me about it very casually, as if it wasn't a big deal, only to realize how big of a deal it was when I got mad. I told her how hurt I am, and she's very receptive and constantly apologized. I've always had the thought that they still will be sharing the bed, but I also wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt for my sake of trust within our relationship. My mind immediately started racing to all the other things she could have been lying about in the past, and her capacity to lie if we moved forward with the relationship. I decided to end things since I didn't feel like moving forward with these new trust issues, and out of fear of the toxicity that might arise on my part through internalized doubt. Not sure if I overreacted, but I thought about it for 2 whole days, and ultimately this is the decision I came to. Would like to know what you all think. Yeah, the first comment says, not the asshole. You set a boundary, she agreed, then broke it and tried to downplay it. She doesn't matter if the friend's gay or a literal plant. She lied, and that cracked the trust. You didn't blow up, you didn't drag it out, you just dipped when you saw the writing on the wall. Respect for handling it like an adult. I do see the other side, though, because someone says, why get mad over a gay friend that you met before? It's certainly not acting like an adult, but more like an insecure child. I'm conflicted about this one because, like, I don't like the way I don't like how they said, quote unquote, that she doesn't view him as a man. And that they go by he, they. I'm almost, like, in my head, I'm thinking, what if this is a trans guy? A very good passing trans guy. So the boyfriend thinks it's a guy, but the girlfriend doesn't see them as a man, the man that they are. You know? That's all that I can think of. Now, I do agree on the other end, like, if you have so much of an issue with your friend being around or sleeping in the same bed with a gay man, like, 2 people who will never be interested in one another, like, that gay friend would probably be more interested in you, OP, not your girlfriend. And I feel like if you can't even trust your girlfriend to be in the same bed with a gay man, that is on you. I get making you uncomfortable, though. Anything can make you uncomfortable. I had a girlfriend at one point. I'm gay, but when I still did date women, I had a girlfriend who had a very close guy friend. And I got very jealous of that guy friend. And it wasn't because, like, there was no logical reason. I was fine with them talking. I was fine with all this stuff. I was jealous because she would mention him publicly and, like, not mention me publicly. And it was just, one of my love languages is a lot about, like, being, like, praised and being, like, kind of shown off to people. I really appreciate that. So when she did that with another person and never did that with me, that's where I felt jealous. But I never put, like, a restriction on her, like, you can't talk to this person, or you can't post about this person, you can't do this. No, she is her own person, and if I ever felt so insecure with my relationship that I had to put a restriction on another person, it's not gonna. Basically, I see both sides. I get it, because if he's uncomfortable, he should be able to talk about that, and they should work through it. And also, it was very shitty of her to pretend like she's doing what she said she would, and then not actually doing it. But then again, on the other end, I'm like, buying a whole fucking air mattress, save the $50, go to a movie with your girlfriend or something, like, have dinner with your girlfriend. The air mattress is not necessary, you know? Am I the asshole for having different rules for my male and female employees? I am a 54 female, and I run a tanning salon. Throwaway account. I've been a business owner for different businesses since the early 2000s, and I'm trying to navigate working with the current younger generation. I have 2 daughters in their early to mid-20s who have taught me a lot about the modern world, and I try to be as open-minded and forward-thinking as I can be. I also realize that I am somewhat out of touch with the younger customer base, so while I am still the boss, their opinions are strongly taken into consideration. In 2022, we officially got rid of our uniform policy, polo shirt with the company logo and black pants, and I allow mostly female staff to dress as they like. Within reason. I call them all my girls, as we are fairly close, and I am like their work mom. For the most part, my girls understand what is appropriate and what isn't, but a few of them have started really pushing this policy to the point where some older customers have complained. 3 older women complained about my girls not wearing bras, showing off their midriffs, and sometimes having their butt cheeks poking out of their shorts. One woman even stated that her husband and teenage sons often come in just to see the girls, and she does not like them. I asked my daughters how they think I should approach this topic at the next meeting. They said that the women who work for me are not girls. They're grown women with their own agency, but they should be allowed to wear what they want without being sexualized. They said that they should not be punished because men sexualize them, and that the men are the problem, not their outfits. At the meeting, this was the exact sentiment repeated by the girls. I agree with this principle, but I had to remind them that although we live in a hot beachy area of Florida, our customers often come in wearing swimsuits. We are still a business and need to be professional. I implemented a bra requirement policy and found it shocking that they seem to be so opposed to this rule. As I mentioned, most of my staff is female, but I have 2 lovely young men on my staff who just happen to be gay. They're both sweet, funny, and great with customers, but after some particularly hot days, one of the young men has started wearing very thin swim shorts, leaving very little to the imagination. About a week ago, one of the girls came to me saying that he makes her very uncomfortable when they work together because she can clearly see the outline of his you-know-what. She says that he does things like stretching, standing very close to her, and being dangerously close to fully displaying. Now, I don't know how to handle this. The same woman who said that it doesn't matter what you wear and people should just not sexualize other people's bodies is now complaining about seeing the outline of a man's package, a gay man who wasn't even remotely interested in her. I don't have HR, and this is a touchy subject to address for multiple reasons. My daughters say I should have my husband talk to him about not making the girls uncomfortable, but my husband is an old school man who lacks tact. My daughters also say that if he's making the women uncomfortable, that he should be reprimanded or fired. And when I remind them that they were so adamant about how clothes are not the issue and people shouldn't sexualize others, they both got annoyed but offered no solutions. Would I be the asshole to set different rules for the guys than the girls? Would I be an asshole for going back to the uniform policy and essentially punishing everyone because of the actions of a small few? I never had to deal with these sorts of things before. I need advice, please. This one, I feel like, I don't know how much I want to comment on this one because women should be able to wear what they want, do what they want. But I feel like if it is a business, let's start there. This is a business. This isn't just going out to like the beach. This isn't going out with friends. This is where you work. And most like big companies have a dress code. Like you don't have to implement a uniform, but you could implement like hey, men don't wear tight fucking shorts that show off your dick, and women wear long enough shorts that it covers your butt. Like, at least while you are at work. I think outside of work, obviously, wear whatever you want, okay? People can pull off, wear what you want, wear what makes you comfortable, wear what makes you feel nice. But, like, at a job, I feel like there could be like your short needs to be like this many inches. Or your shorts can't show your fucking package. Like, I feel like this lady is being... The people around this lady, I feel kind of bad because, like, they're saying how women should be able to wear what they want and do what they want, blah, blah. But when this one man goes too far with how he dresses, and, like, I get it, there is a difference about men and women, and, like, how women have been shamed for how they look, women are shamed for sexual things, women are shamed for fucking everything, and they are the minority of the two. But I think, well, gay men are also a minority, but a different kind of minority, and I feel like you could implement the same, like, not the same, but gay men are usually sexualized and, like, they dress more femininely, and then they get ridiculed for dressing more femininely. Also, just being gay is sexualized by people a lot. A huge homophobic rhetoric is about how being gay is sexual, and don't bring that around the kids and all that stuff. Basically, OP should implement some kind of dress code. Nothing, she doesn't need to be like super specific and say like, you need to wear this shirt, you need to wear these pants. But like, I think she gave a mile and they took the whole mile and a half. You know, like, I feel like she could backtrack it and be like, and give them a range of things that they could wear, but not like giving them full free rein and not being very, very uptight about what's being worn. Am I the asshole for snapping at my great aunt for wanting to use a Diddy song at my cousin's funeral? My favorite cousin, Johnny, male 34, passed recently, and now my family and I, female 34, are planning his funeral. His mom, my mom's sister, passed a few years ago, so my great aunt, Johnny's grandmother, let's say her name is Edna, 81, is heading the funeral arrangements. She specifically asked me to go to the funeral home with her, and even asked me to help her get an obituary made in our local newspaper, because Johnny and I were damn near inseparable. For the funeral, Edna requested that I'll Be Missing You be played during the pallbearer procession because she likes the lyrics. I told her that with everything going on in the media with Diddy, it wouldn't be appropriate. She told me she didn't know that man or what he does because she wants the song. She told me she doesn't know that man or what he does because she wants the song to be played specifically. Now, mind you, Johnny himself was a survivor of DV. He was an openly black gay man who used to have an abusive boyfriend. He confided in me several times, and with others he was very open about the things he had experienced in life, and that he didn't feel heard when he used to go to the police or others around him. Beyond that, Johnny and I used to talk about the Diddy situation, and he couldn't stomach that man. I'm literally telling this woman all of this in the funeral director's office, and it's like everything was going in one ear and out the other. I told her that she's old and stuck in her ways because she told me to find my own way home because I was disrespectful. The first comment says, "You're right, she's not. She may not care about who Diddy is, but she must know that people coming to the funeral will be looking at her bad judgment and taste." Someone says, "Use the original version by John Waite." OP says, "I've never heard of this version. I'll have to look it up and suggest if she's open to it. The service is Tuesday," shaking my head. Especially since this man is a survivor of DV, I feel like at least this woman, Edna, should be open to hearing what what OP has to say, especially because, like, it'd be like if someone, my parents would never let this happen, but if someone played like a Harry Potter soundtrack song at my funeral, I would literally rise again. If someone played Harry Potter at my fucking funeral, if someone in the audience is playing the Harry Potter game at my funeral, I will rise from the grave to strangle them and put them in the grave instead of me. So, basically, fuck that person. It's just annoying to hear because, like, this person literally says that the deceased didn't like Diddy and that they had talked about that. So, the grandmother, ignoring the experiences of the deceased, ignoring the opinions of the possible opinions of the deceased. And like, this Edna lady, whatever, can't know that that's what he thought, the deceased thought. But she can listen to this other person who was inseparable with the deceased, and they say, "Hey, he did not like this artist. Let's not play this artist at his funeral." Last story. Am I the asshole for kicking out my friend for homophobic and misogynistic posts? I, 26 female, have a childhood friend who we'll call Mark. Of course it's a man. 26 male. Mark lost his job and eventually it led to an eviction. I offered my place to him while he looks for a new job. Outwardly, he's been great. He's taken care of himself, helps out with like 90% of the chores, and even offered to pay rent after finding a job, all without asking. However, we're almost 3 weeks in and I caught something I didn't expect to catch. Mark had been logged on to Reddit on my desktop, and I noticed his account settings there were his comments tab open. Mark had been logged into Reddit on my desktop, and I noticed his account sitting there with his comments tab open. I noticed a few extremely sexist and homophobic comments. I saw some comments to the effect of things in the range of women who wear short skirts are sluts to gay people are XYZ. He's told me he's been on Reddit for a while, so if I wanted to scroll more I could have, but I felt respecting his privacy was more important, so I just logged out at the time. But I won't lie, curiosity got the better of me and I checked his post history. Turns out there are a lot of other comments like that, like a lot. This isn't something I never would have guessed about him. He's known that I'm bisexual with a strong preference for women almost since I knew that about myself. I also wear revealing clothes quite frequently, and he's never said anything about it either. Yet his Reddit post history is full of comments disparaging people like me, who act like me, and have the same fashion as me. Hell, there were even some comments that seemed to hint that he just hates women as a whole, not even for doing anything, just women overall. I was truly shocked by this. Eventually I confronted him about it. He fully admitted that the account was his, but played it off as a joking thing, and blowing off steam. I was furious about it. We had a heated argument, but I told him that there were no homophobes nor misogynists allowed in my house and I needed to leave within the next 12 hours. He started crying and said he has nowhere to go, but I told him I need to prioritize... He started crying and said he has nowhere to go, but I told him I need to prioritize my safety and comfort in my own house. He hasn't contacted me since he's left as of now, so I don't know what he's up to or where he's at. Now I'm questioning if I was too harsh and should have given him some time or if I did the right thing. I do feel bad for him as he's in a rough situation, and it was shocking to see he's the kind of person that posts what he posts. I don't think I've fully comprehended it. Some stupid comment says, but she put herself in that situation. She invited him into her home and then violated his privacy, then illegally terminated the residency. It's pretty immature to hurt people because it makes you feel better. They deserve to defend themselves and have a trial. We don't even know if this is true or an exaggeration, but you're validating the behavior nonetheless. It's not only innocent people who deserve to have rights, it's everybody. Someone replied to that saying, incel vibes. Someone says, not the asshole, your home, you decide who lives there. If you aren't comfortable with him being there, he has to go. I wouldn't be comfortable living with someone like that either. The same commenter who said the dumb comment above commented this. Yes, but you have to give the residents time to leave. You can't break the law and violate their rights because they are a bad person in your eyes. Everyone is a bad person in someone's eyes and right in their own. And that's why everyone has the same rights. I see the guy from the post has made a Reddit account. Anyways, sorry, I was put in shock for a moment over how stupid it is. This man is not a resident. This is not a legal thing. This person gave this man a place to live, and he offered to pay for his place to live. He did the chores, but that was not like a agreement. There was no agreement made there. It was just her doing something nice for him, and him repaying the favor by doing chores and stuff. There is no residency. This isn't like a roommate-tenant type of thing. And I think OP has the complete right to kick that man out. If someone was saying negative things about trans people who was living with me, they would be out the door the second I saw it. It wouldn't even be through my mind like, oh, maybe. No, it's a safety thing. It's not even like bad view. What does this stupid comment say? Everyone has the same rights. Everyone's a bad person in someone's eyes. No, I don't think it's the same, like an equal comparison of someone disliking another person's views to someone's views being that other people should not exist. There's a difference. If I think someone is bad because they think trans people should pass away, I don't think my dislike of that hatred of that person is the same as their hatred of me. Just, you know. Alright, I don't know how much I'm gonna have to edit this, because, yeah. Alright, I will see you guys next time. Comment, like, subscribe. Goodbye.